And good afternoon, everybody. It's the afternoon part of the show this morning. It's Saturday, the December 27th edition, 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. One line is open. First time in a while, 303-696-1971. Why don't you go to church? And why have you quit? And there's studies out. I read them. I think they are steeped in the truth in what they do, and their conclusions are the country, the United States, is undergoing the fastest religious shift in modern history, marked by a rapid increase in people not going to church, and numerous church closures are taking place nationwide, and it matters. And nearly 3 of us in 10 identify as no affiliation. My sources on the first part of this are the Public Religion Research Institute. Gallup is part of this, the quicker part of this major religious shift. And 4 in 10 Americans are unaffiliated. This is my other study, 38%, in an increase from 32% in 2013. We have, and again, different, it doesn't matter whether it's Judaism or being a Lutheran or being Roman Catholic it doesn't matter. That's the universe that these people are working in. And about 57% of Americans today seldom or never go to religious services. That's a jump of 40% from the year 2000. An unprecedented 15,000 churches are expected to shut their doors this coming year. So why? Within the Republican Party, I think I should bring this up as well, the largest group, white Christians, are 68% of the Republican Party. Only 12% identify themselves as religiously unaffiliated. Democrats are the other way around, the unaffiliated 34%. So it is an interesting question. Did you go to church and quit? Why don't you go to church? And some people have become angry about this show, and it's no reason to. Let me see. Peter, everyone is failing. I don't want people to say anything. You want people to say they no longer believe in our Lord and Savior, and that's why they're not going to church, and it's not happening. God is alive and stronger than ever. The studies are what we're talking about. I'll read a couple more. Come on, things work. Peter, is church attendance declining because the country and the world seem to be going to hell on a faster train, or are the country and the world getting worse because people aren't going to church? I don't know the answer, but I do know going to church is good for the soul, or a nice nap. That's funny. It's denominational churches that are closing. I know 3 Christian churches are already expanding and building additions, Storyline, Flatirons, and Revive. Fine. I mean, but it's not the universe. The universe suggests something else. All right, let us go back to the phones. Hey, Mike in Littleton, you waited. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, and thank you.
Well, afternoon, Peter. For me, it wasn't one thing. I can probably rattle off 2 or 3 things for you. But first of all, the messages that I was receiving in church became empty. I'm kind of immersed in science, and I read a lot like you do. And they just seemed outdated. That I wasn't inspired by it anymore. I would read stuff that would raise questions, but the church wouldn't really answer those questions. So there was doubt. When I looked at the churches as a whole around me, including the one I was in, there were no inspirational leaders, in fact, that I wanted to follow, some pastor or pope or somebody. You look around and you go, my God, you were involved with one of them down there in Colorado Springs with Mike Jones and Haggard.
That was the best.
These people, well, wow, eye-opener for me, but I just look around and you go, these people have got feet of clay like the rest of us. They're not inspirational, and maybe I need to go find my own path and do my own reading and go from there. And then I would say that as my life got busier, this is going to sound really hollow, but I had time competition on Sundays. It's like, I'm going to pack everybody up and get in the car and drive somewhere, and there's a Bronco game on. I got yard work to do. I'm busy. I can go shopping. So our lives are just more busy.
What takes that away? And I can only my own experience. My father, we went to church. I don't care if it was whatever. I think maybe there was one or two snowstorms and the old man's car was too beat up to go, but we went to church. You got dressed and you went, and I remember wearing my dad's ties. He'd tie my tie, and we would go to church, and then and I don't know whatever the reasoning, but the between the lines, the racial makeup of Christianity within the party is also different, but black churches are experiencing the same decline as white churches, and again, regardless of denomination. And you can tell me, and I brought this up many times this morning, that your own experiences make what we're talking about all wrong. But as you probably know, this is Ohio State stuff. It's Notre Dame stuff. They're reading a universe far more spectacular and far wider than your observations. And statistics it's called the unchurching of America. So give me principal reason why the country is unchurching.
Well, I think we are more educated than ever before. We have access to more information than ever before. We can ask more questions than ever before. And we're busier. And you combine all that with, church scandals and the rest of it, the church has lost its authority as a whole to tell us what to think. And that's kind of how they had control over the populace throughout history.
Sure.
You believe this, or you go to bad places, and bad things happen to you.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just think we as a people have evolved, or you want to call it rise up, whatever, where that the church in its message no longer has a grip or an authority over us. And so we're kind of wandering around looking for our own answers, and other religions are coming to the forefront too, that are seeming to be appealing to people.
Yeah, no, it's so. I brought that up in the '60s when the whole country goes into turmoil. All the Eastern religions and the Maharishi and everyone, they're all cons, but they show up too, and they glom on. As always, Michael, thank you. We go to Raphael. Raphael, I like your name. You're on the radio show. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Boyles, for taking my call.
Thank you.
And I just want to make a comment about one of your callers. He ended up his call by saying, why just don't God show up on earth and fix every problem? Well, I have an answer for him, if you may. For the same reason he didn't show up to save the Jewish people from Hitler, from the same reason he doesn't show up at the children's hospital to save and cure all these children from cancer. And the answer is simple, because he doesn't exist, period. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. And we go to Ralph in the Springs. There's a line open. Ralph, good morning.
Let me take you off. Yeah, the word is hypocrisy. Peter, you there?
I am.
Yeah. Your next to last caller pointed it out. Churches have lost their hold on the American people. And the reason is they don't walk the walk. They talk the talk, and they want the money, but they don't walk the walk.
Well,
look at the leaders of the churches.
One of the things that strikes me in the study is, and you can hear it on a lot of talk radio, you can hear it here a lot, within the Republican Party, the largest group is white Christians. They are 68% of the Republican Party. So you do with that as you may, but that's why seems to be some angry text messaging and calls. I can't yet explain it. I just started reading this study 2 nights ago, but that's a variable that's important. But
let me go ahead.
But 57% of Americans today seldom or never attend religious services. What does that say as opposed to 68% of white Christian Republicans do? It's important.
Well, I grew up in a belt buckle of the Bible Belt. 7 colleges in town, 6 of them were church-related. Baptist, Bible, I won't go down the list. Fundamentally, I was very, very, very Methodist. And I learned that John Wesley had 4 precepts.
Oh, you bet.
No swearing, no drinking, no smoking, no fornication.
Yep. You know why?
And then, of course,
by the way, you know why they're called Methodists?
Yes, it was a method of.
They had a method. That's right. You're very good.
Exactly.
Very good.
Yeah. I was well taught. But the problem was, if you came out of Sunday school and stood by the church door, there you would see the church fathers.
Yeah.
Drinking and swearing. Well, excuse me. At least hungover. I won't say they were drinking there, but they were swearing. They were smoking. They obviously were hungover, and according to the rumors, they had, how shall I, fornication on Saturday night, church on Sunday.
The first thing that the priest would do when service was over, would get to his office, he'd light a cigarette. He smoked Kent's.
Bingo.
And I mean, he would come on on Sunday afternoon with my dad, and he'd come to the house. They'd drink beer, and for some reason, the old man had made sardine sandwiches with onions and mustard.
Oh, God.
Father Doherty would come, and him and the old man. I ate those sandwiches. I loved them, and he'd sit there, and him and the old man would talk. They were different guys. I mean, you're right about the generational today.
Well, but their congregation was different too.
Oh, everything was different.
I didn't have access to anything like the internet or stirring thinking.
That's what we talked about earlier.
And that's what's happening is the congregations are no longer locked in.
All right, who can call the radio show and tell me about splinters of the original cross, and did you believe it? That's true. I mean,
Peter. Oh true. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can go see them in various churches in Europe.
Oh, how about starving Chinese children? These called the Chinese babies or Asian babies, I mean, that was real. That stuff was real to me. As sitting there doing this show.
Yeah, but Peter, I mean, I will get a little bit personal here. Fundamentally, John Ashcroft's father and John Ashcroft were very, very Christian, right?
Oh, you bet.
And they wanted everybody to go off and kill a commie for Christ.
Sure, of course.
Except if you happened to look back, neither of them had been in war, and John was, 5, 6 draft dodgings?
Yep. Well, there's more than one of those.
So, I mean, it's they don't walk the walk.
But that's hypocrisy. And
precisely.
And
that's religion these days.
And that's why it matters. Thanks, brother. Thank you. All right, we go to Stephen in Denver. There's this is impossible. 2 lines open. 303-696-1971. Why don't you go to church if that's you? This is Stephen in Denver. Thank you, brother. You're on the show.
Hey, Peter. Great topic.
Thank you.
I think your conclusion is dead on, but I think there's a big difference between people having faith and people believing and patronizing these churches. There's, I think, several reasons. One is just the raw hypocrisy in many churches, financial issues, sexual scandals. In Catholic Church, you've hit on that today. That's obvious. Then you have this all. I'm very political, and I've read several books about this. This on the right, this interwoven political power, political money, the influence of the evangelicals and the hard right. They propped up your buddy Eastman in many occasions.
Many,
and
many,
so I think,
many occasions. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And and there's a couple books by Catherine Stewart that are up your alley about this interwoven. So I think that's it. I think I still have a faith. I still believe. I still read. But I think that's a big difference between giving your time and money and energy to these quote people that are in these churches.
It is an interesting phenomenon, and I think the beginning of it is in the 60s. And again, I don't know how old you are, but if you remember, the churches, the church, some of the churches broke and were very anti Lyndon Johnson and anti Richard Nixon. They really were. They were anti the war, but also into the country comes the Maharishi, the Moonies, all these different sects come in, and the Scientology. And I don't know if you remember when those guys that would dress up like subcontinent Indians and they'd dance in the street, and they collected money, and they were the Hare Krishnas. And I remember all of that stuff. And here they are. I have a friend who used to work in taking climbing expeditions to Nepal, and they would go. One of the places they would stage was in Madras in India, and he said there are these Americans in these robes with these little finger cymbals and a drum, and they're all dancing around, and he has all these guys that are subcontinent Indians that are working with him, and they said, "Who are those people?" And he said, "Well, they're you." He said, "No, they're not. This has nothing to do with us. We're not these people, And so, but those alternative, if you would call it that, religions were here. But this is the plates of the earth, the tectonic transformation, and it's profound. And
no, I agree. I had breakfast with I'm a black pastor on Friday. Got his divinity degree. He's checked out of the whole, organized religion scene. It's on the right and it's on the left. The quote stewards of these churches, and it's across the denominations. Everything. They are not. They have dropped the ball. And then you have radio stations like this one that just try to, equate, being an American with being a Christian.
Sure.
And the blending of that Christian nationalism, at some point in time, it's going to blow up. It will, because people are tired of it.
Or be just disproven. But within the Republican Party, I thought when I reading last night, the largest group is white Christian Republicans, and it's 68%, at least according to the study, and I believe it. 68% of the Republican Party identifies as white Christian, or is white Christian, and that says significance about, as you pointed out, talk radio.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's powerful stuff. It's good to be able to talk in the open. Stephen, thank you, man. Good call, folks on the phones. Hang on. Good afternoon. I'm Peter Boyles. We're back on Monday morning at 6 a.m. May even take a run at this on the show on Monday. Hang on.
Your 710 KNUS forecast this Saturday. Mostly sunny, highs around 60. Tonight, increasing clouds, rain changing over to snow overnight. Maybe an inch or two accumulation expected with low temperatures down to 20. Snow likely early Sunday, then becoming partly sunny with highs near 30. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Lines are jammed. It's a Saturday afternoon, 27th of December. I'm back here Monday morning at 6 a.m. for the fellows. And this may work again on Monday. A lot of people emailing and saying I can't get on, so maybe that makes it great. 61 the high. Snow's coming into the city. Rock and roll is here to stay. Danny Kaplas's law firm, and he's been a great friend, and he's helped my family. And Danny suggests you choose a lawyer who, if you need a lawyer, choosing him or lawyers who share your values. And because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says so much about you and everybody involved in the case. Talk about Danny growing up, his dad being a cop, seminarian, and then wins the golf scholarship, dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who are hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history, to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar jury verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan's my guy, believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Kaplas Law, the official law firm, official partner, Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Kaplas Law's serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on percentage fee basis. He can represent good people, all walks of life, without regard of ability to pay. He helped my family, and he came like the wind. And if you need Danny's help, 303-770-5551, or hit dankaplaslaw.com, Kaplas, C-A-P-L-A-S law.com, 303-770-5551. I think we start with Marie. Hey, Marie, thanks. You're on the radio show. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Peter. This is a great topic.
Well, thank you.
I was raised Catholic and left, of course, because of the abuse, the horrible, horrible abuse of children. And but when I was in the second grade, there were 72 second graders. And Sister Benedict Joseph had to get us ready for not just communion but confession, and we were all scared to death. But listen, this wonderful nun, who God, they would have hung her. She said to 72 second graders, God gave you a conscience, and He gave you free will, and He expects you to use both, and you answer to Him and nobody else. That has lived with me my whole life. And unfortunately, in my family, the church has been part of the family. Either you were with it or you were against it.
Sure.
Yeah. And the only thing that is sad, well, it's not even sad, it's worse than that. Our son went to Catholic schools in Denver for 12 years. Not that we could really afford it, but it was important. And then the priest who prepared him for his first communion, taught him how to be an altar boy, was defrocked in 92.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the incredible abuse, and we were never told. And we didn't even know about it.
They hid it. Boy, did they try to.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
And the only reason he was defrocked, I think, was that 93 was the World Youth Day, when the Pope was coming, and the place was crawling with Swedish guards and CIA and everybody. So that's why they got rid of him. We read about it in an obituary.
Yeah. See, and remember, and when at K-How Radio, Hal Moore, he had no idea, but there was a guy, Father Woody, Monsignor Woody.
Yeah.
And he used to do all this. Hey, he was one of the guys that was a molester, and I mean we know chronically that the church moved the habitual molesters to other parishes, and I mean it's wrong. I mean it's not only. I mean
yes, and I need to say to you, I remember when you would say that Chapeau, whatever his name was,
Chapeau,
Chapeau was really cultivating you.
No, I don't think. Chapeau and I are friends. We were friends. Matter of fact, he was one of the guys. He got rid of Woody and got rid of a lot of those guys.
He did, but he did not share it with the parents of the children who had been
No,
abused.
Chaput was well. I don't know that, but
Yeah.
he was pretty public with getting
No, he
rid of
wasn't.
them. Yeah, getting rid of
Yeah,
those
getting
guys.
rid of them, but not letting parents know.
Okay, well, I will check. I will double. I take you at your word, but
Yeah,
no, he's in
because-
Philly. The church put the blocks to him because he's very conservative, and when he went to Philadelphia,
I was going to say, yeah, there
He-
was another scandal, and that's why they sent him.
well, it was funny because and we were really friends. Now, I used to have
Okay.
arguments with him, Marie, that were just incredible. But by the time they were sending him to Philly to
Yeah.
become and there was allegedly a red hat waiting for him in Philadelphia, and he got on the airplane in Denver. When he got off in Philly, he found there had been another scandal had broken loose just while he was in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And I think, see, I see him as a fixer-upper precisely because of that, because I'm from Philadelphia. And
oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
well, I'm an Army brat. You know, I wrote for the Eagles, but
Well, Philly,
uh,
I mean, he walked into a mess in Philadelphia.
yeah, but it wasn't surprise. I think that's why he was there. This is my opinion. Absolutely my opinion.
And again, I thought that he was great. It didn't change my beliefs, but he changed. We talked about so many things. We would go and sit in his backyard and
yeah.
talk, and he was a remarkable man. He was one of those guys, and you meet them, and he said ever since he was a little boy, he knew he wanted to be a priest.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and because I asked him about that stuff, and he remember because the man that he replaced had this palatial estate,
Oh,
and then Chaput built a little house on the seminary,
yeah.
and he built that's where he lived, and I mean we had some pretty intense conversations, but I can't say that I didn't really like him, and he was the one guy that came along that he was more than willing to have the fight, and
Okay.
he was very bright, I mean extremely bright in fact, and then the church goes, as you probably know better than I do, but the church was a conservative church and then became a liberal church and then became a conservative church. And right now, I think the church is pretty liberal. I think that Leo's pretty, quote, progressive.
I need to tell you, when we heard that he was, me and my friends, we said, my God, we've got a Peace Corps Pope. The problem,
Oh, yeah.
the problem with the church, Peter, is that they have never addressed the methods that those bad priests used to intimidate children. And it was partly through the power of the confession.
And it's also the reason why many of those guys became priests. Because by the way, the same thing happened with the Boy Scouts, if you remember that.
I do, but it wasn't as personal.
Oh, my heavens, no. But they moved the scout masters that had done those things. They would send them to Utah, or they would send the ones from Utah to Denver, and it was the same game. And I'm with you. I'm on your side. And the sense of what it once was out the window, and the scandals of the church and they still go on. They still go on.
Yeah, because they haven't.
So
they've addressed the children or the people who were victims, but they have not dealt with the fundamental issue of saying that this is all divinely instituted.
So do you attend church today?
No. But I do say, and I need to say this, I have the deepest respect for many, many people that I know who are deeply religious. Either they're Catholic or Jewish or Protestant.
As always.
But I envy them, but I also respect that. I mean, I'm not one to sit down and argue religion.
Great day. Thank you, ma'am, as always. Happy New Year. All right, Briscoe, my boy, how are you? Happy New Year, man. You're on the air.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I took some notes. and it will be how to change it, leaders, not going and why, optimism, and the scouts would be the things. So why aren't people going? They're fed up. Not showing true leadership, when this bad stuff goes on, like child molestation stuff. This is the extreme, is guillotines and public executions. You don't take it that far, but these, it needs to be addressed.
What did you go to church as a kid?
Yeah, so I was raised Catholic, not that I was smart enough to actually read and pay attention and actually get it. And I quit going at about age 17. And I say that my kid goes to a Catholic school, and I'm happy he goes to a Catholic school versus a public school. But I'm also somewhat involved. Like, I'm standing beside him with my eyes over his shoulder, making sure things are good, right, as best I can.
Right.
And luckily, we live in a much different day and age with the internet
do you go to church?
Social media.
Do you go to church at all?
No. In a year, I might go once or twice just with my kid during the time when the kids are at church on a weekday. But no, I do not go to church on a regular basis. But I do believe church, one of my things was optimism. I think it can be a place for optimism. I'm not against people that go to church for sure. And I've actually got, through martial arts, one of my first instructors, he became a hardcore atheist. And I saw how miserable his life became. And it took me several years to figure out, okay, don't go that far. Because I followed him down that path a while. But it's I was like, yeah, I'm an atheist too,
It's very, in some ways it's liberating. In some ways it's, every one of these issues or faith shifts that we're talking about in modern history, that's really marked by so many different things. But one of the conclusions, and this is a guy I know, by the way, Sue, this is two guys talking, but the old religious map is disappearing. And you're living proof of that. The digital, secular, decentralized, deeply fragmented. And by the way, Briscoe, this is just the beginning.
Oh, I'm thinking of Islam.
Well, watch. But again, it's a powerful force, and the part of it is it is a theocracy. The religion is the state is the religion. Go look at the imams. Go look at the mullahs. Go look at ayatollahs. They'll show you how it runs, and it's in many ways. Marxism is a religion, and
correct.
It has its sacred books. It has its missionaries. It has its saints. It has its seriously. And if you in a Marxist state, really isn't any like North Korea. What's the difference between North Korea and Iran? Not much.
Oh,
you probably
they're on the same page, but man, North Korea is so horrible.
That's what I'm saying. You probably have a better shot at it in Iran.
Yes, I mean they at least have some internet access, and there is some uprising, like the hijab. Some of the females are taking in the past 6 months.
You watch.
Some of them are not wanting to do the hijab, and they have a strong arm. Again, one of their wrestlers, it was about 3 years ago they executed him because he started talking out.
Well, you remember that's why the Sheik came to America. And I work with the Sheik. I love the Sheik. The Sheik passed away, but who was better than the Sheik? Call everybody a jabroni. But I love the Sheik. But the Sheik came to America because his mentor, I think, was murdered, and they were guards for the Shah, and he fled. So,
okay, I didn't realize that guy was actually Iranian.
Oh no, the Sheik's a real deal. I worked with the Sheik. Don't.
Yeah, so you had some real conversations.
Sheik would have torn anybody apart. He was that good, and he, of course, he learned to work. But I'll talk to you.
Today they got great wrestlers.
Iranians, they taught you. They taught you how to. One thing They're great chess players too, and that tells you something. We play.
Yes, it does.
Somebody once said, "We play checkers; they play chess." Take care.
Yep.
Hi, Bubba.
You too.
Happy New Year. All right, it's time to do the quick turnaround. We have a minute to go. We'll do a turnaround. 710 KNUS. I'm Peter Boyles. I know we'll be back here Monday morning at 6, filling in for Jeff and Bill. Maybe bring some of this on as well, because it really is. People are reacting to it, and I lost my web page to read. So maybe you can run in here and put the website back up so I can read some text messaging. It's been a good show. Really appreciate it. 61 the high. Snow's coming. Hang on. It's a Saturday. We have about 7 minutes, 8 minutes left in the show. What a good show. Thank you, everybody. It is a Saturday, the 27th of December issue, and it's now the afternoon show, 303-696-1971, but lines are jammed as always. Why have you quit, or why don't you go to church? Well, why did you quit? It's really been an interesting show. Back here Monday morning at 6 for Jeff and Bill. What do we do here? We go here. This is Don. Don in Lakewood. Hey, Don, thank you, man. Good afternoon. You're on the show.
Hey, good show, Peter.
Thanks, man.
First of all, raised Catholic school through 8th grade, altar boy, Latin, whole 9 yards. Catholic priest, one of my favorite ever, told me in 8th grade he didn't think I was going to probably stay with the church. He kind of had a heads up on things. He told me one thing: just live your life by the golden rule, you'll be okay. I thought that was pretty prophetic of that man. And he was, like I say, wonderful guy. He was young at the time. I think he influenced a lot of people in a positive light. I tried going back to the church when I was 55 for a year, decided I'd be a hypocrite, and I really got into reading a lot more history, and I've settled on the fact that I've been a deist for a long time, which means I reject any form of organized religion. And I think we've all seen enough of all the hoaxes and scams that have happened. I respect people, believe in what you want. But it's kind of like that gal who said, well, I watched it on TV. First thing that popped in my head was Fahrenheit 451, written by Bradbury back in 1953.
The fireman. You know, I met
the
Ray,
family.
The family was television. I met Ray Bradbury. It's one of my. I say to myself, I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I got to meet these people.
No, you are. You have been blessed. Along with being cursed, you've also been very blessed.
Well, and I met Ray Bradbury, and we talked about that. We talked about Fahrenheit 451 for the people. That paper burns at 451 degrees, and he sets it in the future. And the fireman's job is to burn books. And remember that? The fireman burned books. And his wife, and they called, and it's really, you can see it coming today. The television was called The Family. And if you ever watch religious TV, they really do put it together. There's a family there. And there's the daddy and mommy. By the way, local news does it. There's, a strong father and a mother, and there's a crazy young uncle, he does the news, and then the really nutty uncle does the weather. That was the old traditional ways of doing things. And they built a family, and they learned it from religious television, by the way. And everything you say is true. I mean, it's absolutely true. But Bradbury, we talked about, and remember the fireman's wife would try and kill herself like all the time. And they'd come and they'd pump medicine in her, and she'd
prop her up.
Yeah, she'd prop her back up, and he would go to work, and they would find books, and they would burn them. And then remember, he found the book man, and when he found the woman, he found the book man, and everybody, all these people memorized the book, and guys were walking around. They were Moby Dick. They were, and it's a very awful book in terms of how Bradbury sees the future, but he was remarkable to talk to, man. He was the real deal. And
yeah. Well, you look at Huxley came out with Brave New World in 35,
yep.
Then Orwell, Animal Farm 45, and then 1984 and 1949.
Well,
and then Bradbury comes along with there's a pattern here.
Yes.
That these people are seeing, especially the jump between 1984 and Fahrenheit 451.
And by the way, you're brilliant. What Orwell was talking about was principally the Soviet Union, both times, 1984 and Animal Farm. I mean, Snowball was Trotsky. There's no question about it. But who old? It's true. I mean, he was writing about Animal Farm. And Animal Farm is writing about the Soviet Union. And remember, in the end, when they looked in the window and the pigs had suits on, and they were standing up. And
there goes 4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Who did that? The sheep. It was the sheep. No, I mean, that's a brilliant, brilliant book. And again, when Huxley does Brave New World, and when he dies, according to everything I read, his wife drops acid while he is dying. She drops acid on him, so he can. I mean, can you imagine? But he feels everything about death, and that was their gift. Was he was going to go out high, and
look how long LSD's been around, Peter.
Oh yeah.
When it was first developed, I think it was by the Bayer Company over in Germany.
No, the guy that took the bicycle ride, and they take the bicycle ride every year, and they eat acid and ride the bike. And look at, we were talking about this, and then came MK Ultra by the CIA in this country, and Whitey Bulger, they were giving Whitey acid, man. He was, and when the Rifleman Fleming, when they talked about it, when Whitey got home before he took off, he said, as bad and crazy as Whitey was, and he went to Atlanta, and they said they would give him time off if he would be part of an LSD experiment, and he did.
Right.
And he did. And the Rifleman said, you think he was bad when he went? He said he was infinitely worse when he got home.
Let me correct myself. That was Albert Hoffman, 1938.
That's right. You're right.
San Jose, Switzerland.
Yeah, you're right.
I kept thinking the Bayer Company and all the drugs they made.
So
were just
let me bring you to the prime question. Did you quit going to church, don't go to church, or go to church?
Well, like I said, I am a deist, so I don't believe in any form of organized religion. I do my own thing with the God that I believe, if there is.
Mm-hmm.
I do mono, and my whole thing is I try to live a righteous life. Sometimes I fail miserably, and I try to realize that when I do. And I don't think you can ask for a whole lot more. I just, I really look back at the pagans and the ancients figured out the constellations, the wobble of the earth. I mean, when Moses came down, what were the people praying to?
Well,
the golden bull.
First of all, you got to find Moses someplace realistically and historically.
There is that.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Can't do
it.
Well, so once again, I respect people who want to go into the organizational thing, but just don't try to sell me on it because it's not going to work any. Peter, when did you quit going to church? You were Catholic.
I quit, I don't know, 16, 17. And it
Why?
Someday we'll talk. I mean, it was like,
okay.
I just quit. I said,
yeah.
And I wasn't educated. There was something that was, listen, I got to pull the pin because I got a minute. Thank you. All right, everybody. I don't think there's any answers to anything that happened today, but the country is undergoing this religious shift. The fastest, it's been gauged as the fastest religious shift in modern history, marked by a rapid increase in people stopping going to church. And I wrote this down in my worksheet. Why don't you go to church? When did you quit? And a lot of I didn't get to a lot of the messages that came in. It's okay. Well, I'm really considering part of Monday's show because I'm back for Jeff and Bill. So many people said I didn't get a chance to talk. Well, maybe we'll say. But the interesting thing I thought was in political lines, party lines, and we talked a little bit about it, but that's significant as well. There's a guy sending me a really interesting email that I'd be careful with that one. That one will come back and get you. We'll see. There is the music. Thank you all. I'm back at 6 a.m., and we'll do a lot of radio shows next week as Jeff and Bill are off. Adam Walker, thank you, man. You pulled this one together. Thank you very much. You guys take care of yourselves, and we'll do a lot of New Year's stuff next week as well. Take care. See you on Monday at 6.